Okay, and we're here in Raleigh talking to the Team Foundation server team. Go ahead and tell us your name and what you do on the team.
Okay, my name is Hakan. I'm the program manager for TeamSystemWebAccess. Some of you might have already know about the acquisition story that Microsoft has acquired the company that I founded with my old friend back in last year in March timeframe. So we've been working here in Raleigh since then.
Okay.
And we're still working on web access and making it a better product for our customers. So
okay. And you guys recently had a big release with Team Foundation Server Service Pack 1. You released an update to Team System Web Access and a new work item web access, right?
That's correct. And like since the acquisition, we've been working on the Power Tool editions of Web Access, both for 2005 and 2008 versions of Visual Studio Team System. And the last update that we had is called SP1. It includes Team System Web Access as well as work item overview, aka work item web access.
Okay.
And you know, like the recent Power Tool releases are now shipped in 10 different languages that match Visual Studio languages.
Oh wow. Okay. Very cool. Yeah, I know that I'm a big fan of Team System Web Access. I install it for our internal Team Foundation server instance back in Redmond, and it's super easy to set up and brings a lot of value. So I would like to get a demo, if we can, of some of the things that you're doing in Team System 2010.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to.
Okay.
Okay. What I can show you today is for 2010 features. One of the new features that we've been adding to the product itself is the ability to have hierarchical work items using parent-child relationships. This is a new work item tracking feature, and in Web Access you can now work with hierarchical queries and you can expand and collapse results. Let me show you.
Okay.
Here I'll start with a query that I've created. It's called My Work, and it's going to display work items presented as a parent-child hierarchy here. So what I'm looking at right now is that I have two top-level work items, and under each top-level work item I have child tasks. So this is what I'm referring as the hierarchical work item results. So just like in Team Explorer, I can expand or collapse the hierarchy here. I can also use keyboard navigation and do a couple of things using my keyboard.
Oh, cool.
One of the features that we have in Web Access to match feature parity is being able to move the columns from one place to another. So you can reorder the columns in your query as you need. And you can also resize the columns.
Wow, that's really cool because it doesn't even feel like a web app at this point. That just looks like a rich client application. Now, are you using like an ActiveX control in there, or is that just all HTML?
This is all HTML,
wow,
as well as Ajax.
Okay.
And we're using Microsoft Ajax to support these nice features here.
Nice.
So the one of the other features that we've been working on for 2010 version is what we call as the bulk editing of work items.
Okay.
It means that I can select more than one work item, then I can go ahead and change some of the fields to a specific value. Let me show you here.
Okay. So like if I had a bunch of tasks and I wanted to assign them to the new guy, right? I can just select those?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like if you want to have multiple work items and assign to a different iteration path, for example.
Oh, sure.
You can go ahead and do it. So this is asking me to save the query, which I'm not going to do. And I'll switch to a different query. This is a flat query.
Okay.
It's not a hierarchical one. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to select more than one work item here using shift-click. Then here in the toolbar we have a bulk edit menu, which will give me the ability to edit multiple work items at the same time.
Nice.
So this feature actually existed in the Power Tool version, but what it didn't have is we used to have a static list of fields to edit work items in bulk. So for 2010, what we have is dynamically buildable list of fields that you can use here. So I'm not limited to a certain set of fields anymore. So I can put my own fields, and I can go ahead and change any fields as I want. Like, let me go with a area path, and I'll also try to change the state of those work items.
Oh, and I'm even getting the IntelliSense autocomplete there too. That's really nice.
Yeah, it is basically an editable drop-down that supports auto-completion based on the current fields that these fields support. You will have the same functionality in the work item editor itself, as well as the query builder and here in the bulk edit window.
Okay.
So I'm going to select the target area path as the UI area.
Okay.
And I'll try to resolve all the work items in my shopping cart here, which will not work, and I'm doing it specifically to show you how we're handling certain errors in the bulk edit window.
Okay.
So I'll type some notes for the history. And I'll click Start. So you can see the progress here as the bulk edit window goes over the work items one by one.
Okay.
And you notice that one of the work items failed to save because I know why. Because it was a work item that cannot be put into the resolve state because it's probably in a state that wouldn't accept switching it to a resolve state.
Different workflow path. Yeah,
different workflow path. So each of the list items here are hyperlinks that you can click to open the actual work item. So for the one that gives me an error, I'm going to open that one, which gives me the reason that it failed. So I can see that the state field is giving me an error, and let me see why. Because this only supports active and closed states at this time, and I was trying to resolve it, which didn't work, so I'll just close it. So this was just an example of how we're handling certain errors and letting you to fix the problem.
That's really nice. So I know that a lot of customers today, if they want to do batch editing of work items, that Excel is really the best way to do that. So it's nice to see that this is coming to work item web access or Team System Web Access, so you don't have to have Excel whenever you want to work with that.
Yeah. Still, the official support for bulk editing is Excel for Team Foundation Server. But what we have in Web Access today is basically a handy tool that you can use in certain occasions.
Sure.
Like if you're the difference between Excel and Web Access is in Excel you can work with multiple values, versus in Web Access you are setting the values to the same thing for all the work items that you're working with. So it's like the scenarios that we're covering might be different than what Excel could do for you. So it's just a handy tool if you're already in Web Access and want to edit a bunch of work items at the same time. Here's something that you can quickly access and use.
Sure, exactly. Now, what about I get a lot of questions from customers saying, "Hey, I love the Team System Web Access functionality, but I want to put just a piece of that over on this other website." Have we talked about making this open source or making it available as web parts or something that people can use to kind of build their own interfaces?
Yeah, in terms of extensibility and giving the customers the ability to reuse web access parts in different applications and probably their own applications, instead of investing the extensibility points in the standalone edition, we have decided that the right way to do it is to use the existing Microsoft technology, one of the existing Microsoft technologies, which is SharePoint. SharePoint is the Microsoft's web platform, and our long-term vision is to unify the web story for VSTS under SharePoint, so that in the future we're hoping to see Web Access becoming a SharePoint application. And the first step we're taking in that direction is converting some of the existing features in Web Access and converting them to SharePoint web parts that you can deploy on your SharePoint machine, so you can create instances of those web parts in your project portal or in a dashboard or your custom pages under SharePoint.
Nice.
So for the 2010 version of VSTS, what we're going to have is a collection of web access web parts deployed to your SharePoint machine. And as a customer, when you create a new team project, we're going to provision a dashboard page for you, which will have some of those web parts, like the query results that we've looked at just a minute ago.
Oh, okay.
So the project, what used to be the project portal in the previous versions of VSTS, is now going to be called the dashboards, and you will be able to customize your dashboards based on your own requirements, like what do you want to look at. And here are building blocks that you can use to create your own dashboard page if you don't like the default one that we give you.
So I can just take those web parts and drop them into my own portal.
Yes.
Excellent.
And using SharePoint gives us the advantage to not worry about the actual extensibility points, because this is what the SharePoint platform gives us.
Right.
And there are a lot of great features in SharePoint that we're trying to leverage as the time goes on. We won't be able to leverage all those features at once, but this is our, like I said, our long-term vision. That we're trying to go there, and we're taking the steps that will take us there.
Excellent. Well, that's great. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing this show up in some of the builds that customers can play with, and we'll let you get back to working on TeamSystem Web Access 2010 then.
All right, thanks for the opportunity.